Hey everybody, I'm Zach and I like movies, and today I am talking about Stop Making Sense. This is a re-release of the 1984 classic concert film by the Talking Heads, brought to us by the lovely folks over at A24. And this really is kind of famous for being the greatest concert film ever made. This was made in production with the band Talking Heads, which was a really experimental and funky and awkward sort of art rock kind of group from back in like the late 70s to the early 90s. They had a great run of albums, especially when they started collaborating with producer Brian Eno, and this was filmed by the great director Jonathan Demme, who had a very varied career. He really tried to do about as much stylistically that he could, from like the road comedies with what was it called, Something Wild, but he's mostly known famously for his more prestige dramas like Rachel Getting Married or Philadelphia, and probably his most famous contribution to cinema, 1991's The Silence of the Lambs. And as much as grateful as we all are for like giving us bringing Clarice Starling and Hannibal Lecter in those forms with those actors to the big screen, I can't help but think that anything he made before or since is all eclipsed by Stop Making Sense. This is really, I think, his best work ever. And it's really interesting because it's simple because like you're just kind of filming, a concert. Like it's sort of doing things very simple, but like when you really break down how they're going about it, it's doing things different than what other famous concert films do. It really just doesn't show any backstage stuff. It's only all we are here for is Talking Heads and their amazing set list. And the way this stage show is staged and produced and shot is it raises the idea of like a concert experience to a new level of art. It starts very simply. David Byrne, the David Lynch of music, stepping out on stage, is wearing very normal, plain-looking gray suit. He's got a guitar and a boombox. He starts off with Psycho Killer. And each song, one by one, each subsequent song, one by one, you get a new member of the band. Then you get Heaven with Tina, where Tina, the bassist, one of the greatest bass players of all time, by the time the whole stage is set up with all the instruments, and the stage hands are pushing out these platforms, and the whole band is here. When it hits Slippery People, everything past that, it's just banger after banger after banger after banger. Like Slippery People, Burning Down the House, Swamp, Making Flippy Floppy. It doesn't take long at all. It doesn't take long at all for you to get fully swept up in just the absolute joy of it all. This movie is so much fun. It is an absolute blast. Every song, and the way, it's not just that the music is awesome, because it is. It is incredible. It's some of Talking Heads' best work ever. And even the lives, and even the covers of, like, whether or not you prefer like some of the album cuts to the live ones, I think these live versions of like both Burning Down the House is probably their best he's ever. Yeah, it's probably the best take of that song ever, and just the way it's so bouncy, and everyone gets swept up in like the sound of it all, like the fun. it really is like it really does get overwhelming and becomes a transcendent experience about just celebrating art and music and togetherness and just being fully possessed by these punk sounds, these funk sounds, and art rock. It's so much fun. You can't help but smile watching it, and you can't help but just like marvel at the way that David Byrne is such an amazing frontman. Like the way he starts off simple with like Psycho Killer. He's not just doing that. It's not just singing. He's not just singing the song. He's got a whole movie going on in his head. There's this whole beautiful story that you can kind of read through between some of the songs, like Psycho Killer and Once in a Lifetime. But man, he is like, the way he just joins in and plays and goofs around with the other bandmates. The way he there are moments where he tries to sing Remaining Stone-Faced, but he can't help but smile, and that just, God, it's so joyful. That's the word to describe this movie. It's joyous. This is the movie. This is the song. This is the album. This is the music that will absolutely make you believe in the power of friendship and music. Because, man, it's so good. And man, the way that both Demme shoots it, and I have to mention, this was direct photography on this was Jordan Cronenworth, who was the father of the great Jeff Cronenworth, who's like David Fincher's go-to DP. But Jordan Cronenworth is most famously for being the cinematographer on Blade Runner. But I think here, there's really is something magical he's doing, because there are moments where he just holds a shot on David or any of the other talking heads, and there was this one push in where David's just going ham on the guitar, and knowing what needs to be done to get a shot like that, the focus puller is doing magic. and yeah, there's such amazing stage work here in the lighting and now that it's been restored, you get to see more details of how David carries himself on stage, where he knows where the camera is, but he's not really playing to the camera. He'll hold his hands so as to not cast a shadow over the other shadows. And let me tell you, the things he is doing here are they're not just fun. Again, there's a whole performance going on. He's putting in the work. When he's leading the band through basically a cardio workout in Life During Wartime, and there's that amazing shot where he's it's locked on David and he's just wiggling and dancing around. It's so fun. And then it just moves when it moves on to Once in a Lifetime, which this performance of Once in a Lifetime is a religious experience. And you see it all in David, the way he becomes fully possessed by the music and his ramblings about our modern society and all that. And then when you see him again, he's got the big suit. And let me tell you, if you thought that suit looked big, you will not believe how big that suit is when you see it in an IMAX. And man, I'm so grateful that this movie exists, and I absolutely got to see it in theaters. It's incredible. I first saw this maybe 5 or 6 years ago, and this was my introduction to Talking Heads, and I could not have asked for a better opening act for this band, this amazing music, and this incredible film. I will absolutely see it a million times more, and I implore you all, if it is playing in a theater near you, grab your friends, go and see it. It is absolutely worth every price, every moment. By the time it's over, you wish it would never end. The only thing bad I can say about this is that it's over. And I'm actually upset that Talking Heads is over. uh, um, and yeah, I think its reputation as the best concert film ever made really holds up. There are some that can maybe compete. There is the Monterey Pop Festival. There is Give Me Shelter, which is great, but not really, not really for the reasons, not really for the Stones' music. There's also Martin Scorsese's The Last Waltz, which is great, but nah, it's stopped making sense. This is the end-all, be-all, and I do have to recommend. If you love Stop Making Sense, there is also a filmed version of David Byrne's American Utopia still on HBO Max, or Max, which definitely is a spiritual successor to Stop Making Sense, but I can't exactly say it's like as good. It comes very close. It definitely knows its place, but it's its own. That American Utopia is its own thing. Stop Making Sense is just it's joyous. It's magical. It's this incredible alchemy of collaboration and music and everything. It's an amazing transcendent celebration of everything that you love about jamming to music with your friends. So yeah, this is a desert island movie. This easily gets a 10 out of 10, and yeah, you should definitely see it. Definitely see it when you can. Have you seen Stop Making Sense? Do you like Talking Heads? What's your favorite Talking Heads album? Mine is, next to this, it's definitely Remain in Light, because Remain in Light's a masterpiece. So yeah, comment, like, share the video, subscribe if you like it, and yeah, I'll be watching some more movies between then. And I do promise I will be reviewing the new Wes Anderson short films very soon. So yeah, I'm Zach. I like movies. Talking Heads forever.